Okay, all right, so here's an update. So, yeah, like I think I mentioned before, so this floor is in. The original flooring Tetrised into position here. Uh, and yeah, so all the original flooring on this half of the second floor is ready to roll for sanding and refinishing and such like that. So the main part of the video is to show this, which is the substructure for the flooring, well, for the floor, obviously for the floor of the bathrooms, the main bath and the ensuite. And as mentioned many times in other videos and stuff, the beams that went along here were sunk because, oops, focusing on my finger, because this corner here sunk roughly 6 inches. So obviously that's not level, and so I needed the floor to be level because I'm putting in tile floors for the bathrooms, and you can't have wonky structure when it comes to tiles. So it had to be sistered and level-ish. It's not perfect, but I mean it's at the edge of the level bubble. If you guys know about the bubble in a level, that means it's 2%, not 0% flat. It's 2% leaning, which is perfectly fine for me. That is absolutely flat when it comes to this house. So there's the original beams, 1, 2, and 3, and so I sistered those on either side. This one, from a structure point of view, didn't need to be sistered on both sides, but this one, as you can tell there, has been notched, which I've complained about a lot. And so now it's strong. And then this one, of course, not only was notched, it was also just chopped right in half. It's just unbelievable that someone would do that to a structural beam. Anyways, so it's all sistered in there, and if you, I'll walk out to show like how far off the sistering was. And I try not to drop my phone. So you can see how far off that was, and you can actually see from this video here too. The top board is a 2x6, and then where am I? There we are. The top board is a 2x6, and then underneath it is another 2x4. That's how far off this thing was. I had to put two boards to make it strong and properly sistered. The other thing is that, according to code and the rationale for the code, is that floor joists need to be no farther apart than 16 inches on center, unless it's some sort of these crazy engineered boards and you could do 24 on center, but obviously we're not doing anything like that. So, and then these beams are roughly 3 feet apart, so that is not the code. That's not really too much of a concern to me per se, but what it would do for my project though is that gap would be way too much flex, even for a 1-inch thick plywood subfloor. And if you have flex on the floor and you put tiles on it, you're going to get cracked tiles, you're going to get cracked grout, and it's just going to look like crap. That's my concern. So, as you can tell here, there's intermittent beam joists that I put in there, and there, with all the blocks spaced every 4 feet-ish. Minimum has to be a minimum 4 feet? No, it's a minimum of 6 feet are the blocks. So these are actually the blocks. That's a block. Are less than 4 feet apart from its neighbor, which is over code. And these gaps between the joists are between 12 to 14-inch gaps, which again over code, because 16 is here's the code. So awesome stuff that it's all over code. I just don't want to have my tiles cracked after all this work of putting all this in. So building it overbuild is not a problem for me. I'll do that all day and twice on Sunday. So that's pretty much it. So as to wrap up the video, is what's happening next is the plywood subfloor goes down here, mainly because the next stage is I'm sanding and refinishing these floors. Woot! Exciting! And I don't want all that crazy sawdust and mess and just, yeah, mess going down into the bathroom that we are currently using. So if I put the plywood obviously here down and everything, it'll prevent 99.9% of the dust not going down there, which is good. And that's pretty much it for this update.